light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yell, and welcome to the 29th episode of Mile High Musings. Bring your green hat. Here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Again, I am your host, Aaron Yell. I am so pumped to have you here on a March Madness Sunday night. Man, what a time to be a Denver sports fan, yeah? There's a lot to talk about tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, it is time we ascend to the top of the peak and breathe in that rarefied mountain air as I bring you sports takes 1 mile above the rest. 5,280 feet. That is greatness, ladies and gentlemen. On tonight's show, we will talk about the hottest team in the NBA, the hottest team in the NHL, sort of, and pure madness on the hardwood and the ice. And if there is time, we will talk Rockies and their opening day roster. But before we get to all that, let's handle some business. For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and all of our show pages with personal bios and the podcast feed for each individual show, including this one, Mile High Musings. Check out the show page at iesportsradio.com/Mile High Musings. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long-sleeve shirts, hoodies, and so much more. For nearly a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans and for the fans, and we thank each and every one of you for all of your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports. What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell from Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I am super excited to tell you about a new sponsor on the network, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm's Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket beef jerky offers gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. That's my favorite part. This is some of the best beef jerky you can get your hands on. Check them out online, planetjerky.com. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that is on a whole other planet. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Let's get into the first quarter of today's Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And we're going to talk about the hottest team in the NBA. That's right, the defending NBA champion, Denver Nuggets. And I'm going to keep using that line until I can't use that line anymore. Nuggets had 3 games this week and went a fat 3-0. Started off Tuesday with a 115-113 win at Minnesota. Now, you knew coming into this last stretch of games for the Nuggets, where they have Minnesota on the schedule, not once, not twice, but 3 times leading up to the end of the season, that there was going to be some jockeying for position in the Western Conference. And so this one mattered, especially because the first time we met Minnesota in Minnesota, they beat the crap out of us. So the Nuggets looked like they were going to run away with this one. They were up 15 at the half, but Minnesota came back And frankly, they made it too damn close. Jokic finished with 35 points, 16 rebounds. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Not a triple-double tonight, or that night, but only 2 assists. Michael Porter Jr. had 26 points. Jamal Murray finished with 18, and Aaron Gordon had 14. Starters doing what they do, folks. Anthony Edwards tried to put on a show. Looked like he was going to will his team back to it, but Jokic is just too good. The man's a killer. When he wants to win, he wants to win. Thursday, the Knicks were in town, and I thought the Knicks were going to pose more of a threat, but they came in missing some key guys, and the Nuggets ended up winning 113-100. Now, there are guys in the NBA that I like to watch that aren't on the Nuggets. There are not a lot of them, because the Nuggets play the brand of basketball that I like to watch, and it's not typical NBA basketball. It's ball is popping, it's moving around. One of the guys I like to watch is Luka Doncic, which is why I wasn't that pissed last weekend when the Mavs beat us. I wasn't. One guy I don't like to watch is Jalen Brunson. He reminds me too much of James Harden. He's a grifter, man, and he pounds the ball into the ground way, way too much. Now, respect because he's a better basketball player than I am, clearly. I just don't like to watch him play. I don't like his brand of ball. Taryn's in the chat. What's up, Taryn? Thanks for being here. I know you're busy right now. I've been seeing you all over Twitter X, working your head off those volleyball games, so keep up the good work, but thanks for checking in with the show. Now, Brunson got his 26, but KCP made him earn every single point. And KCP is starting to get love on the national stage, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, as a first-team all-defense guy. JJ Redick acknowledged it. Tim Legler acknowledged it on the All-NBA podcast on the All-City Network this week. KCP is so good at what he does, and defense goes unnoticed a lot of times. You see Defensive Player of the Year candidates with amazing block shot numbers, amazing steal numbers, amazing defensive, box plus minus numbers. Jokic has better numbers than all of the previous Defensive Player of the Year candidates in those categories. He'll never be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and I hope KCP would be, because he will shut down a team's best scorer. He likes to play against the team's best scorers. Absolutely. He wants that smoke. Larry B's in the chat. Larry B, get in on this. So KCP made Jalen Brunson earn every single one of the 26 that he got Thursday against the Nuggets. Now, again, stop me if you've heard this one. Thursday, Nikola Jokic had himself a 30-point triple-double. I'm not telling a joke. I promise you, it's real. The man is he's a stone-cold killer. It's true. But anytime he wants to, he really just takes guys to school. So he put on a masterclass on Thursday. It was insane. He just does what he does. But Michael Porter Jr. was leading all scorers Thursday night, including a Michael Porter quarter in the fourth. Mike had 31 points, went 13 of 16 from the field, and that's incredible because Mike is a, quote, three-point shooter. Michael Porter Jr.'s only misses were from the three-point line, and he was 3 for 6. You are an elite three-point shooter in the NBA if you shoot 40%. Mike is averaging above 40% shooting from three since the All-Star break. Mike is averaging above 20 points per game since the All-Star break. He's the third option on this team. Yes, he has a max contract. Yes, he could go somewhere else and be the first option. But you know what Mike likes? Mike likes championships. And it took him a minute to sink into his role, but there is no better place for Michael Porter Jr. than with the Nuggets. And I have proof to that claim coming up now, because the Nuggets played at Portland on Saturday night. Sorry, I got to finish up on that Knicks game. Jamal Murray finished with 23 points, but tweaked his ankle late in the fourth, leading into Portland. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray both did not travel, so the Nuggets sent AG, KCP, Mike, and the JV team up to Portland to play the Blazers. It helped a lot that the Blazers rolled out only the second all-rookie lineup in the last 50 years. Nuggets ended up winning 114-111 with the JV team in. Aaron Gordon finished with 22. Reggie Jackson had 23, but I think the man of the night last night for the Nuggets. And to me, I've gotten so used to watching this team and watching off-ball stuff that I find myself when I'm watching these college games this weekend, watching the off-ball stuff. Maybe it's the coach in me. I don't know. But to me last night, the guy who popped the most was off-ball stuff, and it was Christian Brown, who had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block in the game. He played over 30 minutes. He's catching fire, and not necessarily from the field lately, but he's getting involved. He's active. He's got active hands, active feet. He's making defensive stops. He's getting rebounds that he shouldn't get because he's only 6'6", but he's got bounce. He's playing well. God, he's such a freaking March merchant. All the dude does is win, especially late in the year, and he's just killing it. I brought this up last week, and I'm going to bring it up again. There was one point in the finals last year that Christian Brown was 5th on the NBA Finals MVP ladder. Dude is a baller. Straight up. Taryn in the chat says, being the T-Wolves was impressive this past week. It was. They should have beat them by more. But the Nuggets are starting to go, okay, it's about playoff time. They're shrinking. They're not shrinking the rotation, but they're really seeing who they can put in the rotation and who they're going to trust. They even went to last year's playoff rotation with Aaron Gordon at the 5 at a couple different points this week. So they're trying that out. I really think, and Michael Malone said this in the press conference after the Knicks game, Reggie Jackson is for sure a lock in the playoff rotation. Christian Brown is for sure a lock in the rotation. There's one more guy. It's probably Peyton Watson, who hasn't played very well lately. And that's just a young kid who needs to learn to turn it on like the rest of his team. He's done great this year. But now's the time to not be a kid anymore and be a man. Denver becomes the first Western Conference team to hit the 50-win mark, and with OKC losing to Milwaukee tonight, thank you, Bernie Bango, the Nuggets are in sole possession of first in the West. Denver is 12-2 since the All-Star break, y'all. 12-2. Their losses are an overtime loss to Phoenix and a buzzer-beater loss to the Mavericks. And that overtime loss to Phoenix was essentially KD hitting a 3 to tie it. So you're telling me, really, you're 2 shots away in the last 3 seconds of fourth quarters from being 14-0 since the All-Star break? There are 11 games remaining for the Nuggets. And even with the consistent good play of OKC, now they lost tonight, they ran into Milwaukee. Milwaukee's good. We'll see how good. I still don't think that anyone can hang with the Nuggets in a 7-game series. Yes, OKC took the season series 3-1. But we have seen over the past week that the Nuggets can flip the switch whenever they want. And I really don't think this team cares a lot about the first seed. The players are going to tell you they want the 1 seed because they want all, 3 series? They want all 3 series at altitude. Because it's no joke, gang. It's no joke. Michael Malone wants them healthy. The team wants the 1 seed. I think if the Nuggets are the 1 or the 2 seed, lights out. Nuggets play a full week this week. Monday against Memphis, Wednesday against Phoenix, we owe them. Friday against Minnesota, again. And Sunday, a matinee against Cleveland. All 4 of those games are at home. Coach has called the timeout. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all of the sports. When we get back from the timeout, let's get crazy. No, let's get mad.
Hockey fans, I'm Adam Kernan.
And I'm Zach Puplis.
Together, we are the newest version of Hockey Talk on IE Sports Radio, The Neutral Zone.
Zone.
We love hockey, but we also know it's not everyone's first sport. So we want to make this show as much for new fans as for the diehards.
Whether you can name all the Swedes on the '08 Red Wings Stanley Cup team, or if you can't tell if Varlamov is a goalie or the latest trendy vodka, we're here to help. With facts, figures, and outrageous fans, we bring you all the hard-hitting hockey news you can handle, while still keeping it fun and on the rails. Well, mostly.
So tune in every week as we go around the hockey world, from college to Canada, the minors and the majors, and everywhere in between.
So bring your cellies,
And your one-timers,
you wicked wristas.
and be sure to protect your five-hole.
Catch the Neutral Zone every week on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
We promise not to pick on the Arizona Coyotes every episode.
This year, I don't know if they're picking on the Arizona Coyotes, might be the San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, or the Columbus Blue Jackets, but we'll get to them in the third period. Second quarter of Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Don't forget to give the show a follow over on Twitter X at Mile High Musings _IESR. You can check out all the shows on the network over on Twitter. Check out our website, iesportsradio.com, where you can see a list of shows, the schedule for the week, bios, and all kinds of fun stuff on the network all week long. It's madness time. It's crazy. Let's get crazy. Who wants to be the Mad Hatter and get crazy? Let's talk March Madness. Let's talk March Madness, ladies and gentlemen, both on the hardwood and on the ice. With a cup of tea. CU and CSU men's teams were both in the first four, both in playing games, both 10 seeds, and they both won. CSU looked dominant against a really, really bad Virginia team. Boise State gave CU a little more challenge, but in the end, the Buffs were too much. In the round of 64, the Rams ran into a buzzsaw named Texas. Texas proved to be too long and too athletic for CSU in the end. The Rams ended up losing 56-44, but a tip of the cap and a fat Mile High salute to the CSU Rams for this year. They looked good. They were ranked a lot of the year. That team is trending in the right direction. I saw a graphic in the, I can't remember if it was in the Texas game or the Virginia game. They have won 20 or more games in the last 4 years. So they're trending in the right direction. Watch out. And they beat all of the major Colorado universities this year during the regular season. So they were, quote, state champs. Yeah, they clowned Virginia, as Taryn said in chat. I mean, I think Virginia had 14 points at halftime. It was bad. It was real bad. And CSU was feeling themselves, so good on you. The Buffs, on the other hand, no. CU gave us the content that we all live for. In their round of 64 game against Florida. Gators jumped out to an early lead in the first half, but the Buffs didn't quit. And you could say that was kind of their MO all year. They didn't quit in the Pac-12 tournament. They made it all the way to the championship game. Buffs ended up tying it up at halftime at 45. CU's biggest lead coming out of halftime was 89-77. I was watching the game. I was like, man, just put the nail in the coffin. Play some defense, get some stops, shut it down. There's only 5:23 left when they were up 12. I was like, over. But instead of driving the nail in the coffin, they took stupid fouls, empty possessions, peed down their leg a little bit when Florida gave them pressure, and the Gators crawled back out of the swamp to tie the game at 100. 100, defense optional in this one, with 11 seconds left. But KJ Simpson got loose on the baseline and bounced in the game-winning shot with 2.4 to win it. I watched the replay of that one 8,952 times. Stop the press. You want to talk about watching a replay? I'm sorry, I've got to go back to this. I meant to mention this in the first quarter. If you haven't seen the Nikola Jokic pass from the Knicks game where he draws a double and whips it one-handed behind his ear to Aaron Gordon, you need to stop listening to the show. Go look up Nikola Jokic pass against the Knicks and watch it, and then start listening to the show again. I watched that thing, I'm not kidding, 20 times. I analyzed everybody's footwork. everybody's position. I wanted to know the moment Nikola Jokic knew to throw it. It was insane. If this was a visual media, maybe I need it to be, we would be breaking down that highlight right now. Oh my God, it was incredible. But CU wins the game. Watched the buzzer beater. I watched as many angles as I could. I listened to as many calls as I could. Good for KJ Simpson and the Buffs. I loved it. They showed weaknesses, but they showed strengths. And their win means they drew number 2 seed Marquette today. And the Buffs were in it, and they were in it for the entire game, but they just could never get over the hump. A lot of back and forth today, and they played their hearts out, but they fell to Marquette 81-77. I think the Buffs just ran out of steam. I think the Florida game ended up being too much for them, and Marquette just... Shaka Smart's a good coach, and Shaka Smart said after the game in the press conference, I don't know who made them a 10 seed. That's the best 10 seed I've ever seen. Buffs were great. Both men's teams from the 2 biggest universities in the state had a great showing in the tournament. They both won games. I don't care if it's first 4. CU won a round of 64 game. And they were 5 points away from being in the Sweet 16. And the Sweet 16 would have been against NC State. It would have been Eddie Lampkin Jr. against that big Chungus from NC State. I cannot remember his name, DJ something. Big dude. He's listed at 6'9", 275, but if he's 275, I'm 245. Because that man's was huge. I think both CU and CSU have a lot to be proud of this year. CU women's basketball team, on the other hand, they're still dancing. They won their first round matchup against Drake 86-72. It was back and forth early before CU opened up a 12-point lead in the second quarter. And, Drake took a lead for a hot second before the Buffs turned it on and never looked back. Today, the women kept on dancing, beating K-State 63-50 in a pre-Big 12 showdown to advance to the Sweet 16. It was a close game in the first half, and it wasn't until the 5:15 mark of the third quarter that the Buffs gained any control. But when they grabbed the lead, they grabbed it for good. CU women's await the winner of tomorrow night's Iowa-West Virginia game. That's at 6 o'clock Mountain on ESPN. It was Caitlin Clark in Iowa who knocked the Buffs out of the Sweet 16 last year. So revenge time, baby. Go Buffs. Again, CU women's basketball, they were ranked at one time 3 in the nation. They're crushing it this year. They're coming together at the right time. They're playing good team ball. Their leading scorer for both games so far in the tournament was no more than 12. So you're looking at even distribution across the board. Everybody's picking up slack. Everybody's playing defense. The ball's popping. So CU women's on a roll. They might run into a buzzsaw. It's Caitlin Clark. But maybe they can be Cinderella, keep that glass slipper on, and upset an ice-cold player. Lastly, in our madness section, the DU Pioneers secured an automatic number 1 seed in the NCAA Frozen Four tournament beginning this coming week. The Pios won the NCHC, which is the North Central Hockey Conference, Frozen Face-Off Championship last night, beating Omaha 4-1. DU is ranked 3rd in the nation and is the number 1 seed in the Springfield region. They will play UMass at 1 Mountain on Thursday on ESPN2. Definitely going to have that game on Thursday afternoon. Hopefully I'll still be scheduled from home so I can watch it here in the studio. Ooh, baby. You know what? We need a line change. We're going to go in for a line change. When we come back, we're going to stay on the ice. We're going to talk hockey in the third period of Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Give said point a listen. I dropped it earlier, but Taryn working real hard on that volleyball scene. Taryn in chat, it seems like every Sunday night. Taryn's one of my regulars. And you know what, Taryn? We're not talking Broncos today, but
in this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.
it wouldn't be an episode of Mile High Musings if I didn't give Taryn that drop. We're not going to talk Broncos today. I need a break. My palate needs a cleanse. Plus, there's too much going on, man. I want to talk Avs. I want to talk Nuggets. I want to talk March Madness. I want to talk... We got to start talking Rocky soon. Hopefully we can get there. Anyways, third period of Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and we have got to talk about the Colorado Avalanche. One of the hottest teams in the NHL. I mean, good grief, ladies and gentlemen. They are on a heater. They are beyond a heater right now. They have won 9 straight. 9 straight. And 11 of their last 12. Avs had 3 games this week. Tuesday, they wrapped up their 4-game road trip with a 4-3 win at St. Louis. They finished that road trip a perfect 4-0. The Avs didn't give up the first goal in this one, which they love to do. Just the second and the third of the game. Mikko Rantanen netted a hat trick, his 7th career hat trick, which moves him into the company of the likes of Peter Forsberg for most career hat tricks in franchise history, in Avalanche franchise history, I should say. Nathan McKinnon kept the point streak alive at 17 with an assist on the first goal. It always makes me feel good when Matt gets that point streak out of the way in the first period, because then I don't spend the whole game going, but what if Nate doesn't get a point? But what if he doesn't get a point? Then the streak's over, and I don't know if I can wear any of his jerseys. No, that's ridiculous. He's the greatest player on the planet right now. I don't care what the Tampa Bay fans say. Nikita Kucherov is a point monger. I'm going to get salty. Anyway, Friday, old Boise. Avs came back home and they beat Columbus 6-1. A tale of two cities indeed. We did give up the first goal in this one, but boy howdy did it get ugly after that. Goals from Makar, Colton, 2 from Mikko, McKinnon with a goal, thank God. He actually got an assist early, so we were fine. And Big Val with a power dangle at the end. Oh, it was amazing. Mikko had a 3-point night. McKinnon extended his home point streak to 33 games and his overall point streak to 18 games in this one. The big guns were firing for sure, and the third line scores. And the Avs scored on the power play. It was a near perfect game. Oh, and Colorado outshot Columbus 51-24. Yikes. Poor Columbus gets us a week from tomorrow again. Granted, it will be on their ice. But still. It was bad. Mikko Rantanen now has 96 points on the year and will most likely, knock on wood, finish with more than 100 points for the second season in a row. There aren't that many players in franchise history that have done that. Today, the Avs played one of the dreaded matinee games, and I tweeted out early, I freaking hate matinee games, because what did the Avs do? Well, I can't believe I actually kept this game on. 2 months ago, I would have switched to whatever else was on, college basketball, whatever, but not today, Satan. No. The Avs looked awful, because a matinee game, I don't know. And yet, they still won. The Avs got down 4-0 to Pittsburgh, who was bullying them, who outplayed them. Sidney Crosby looked like he was in his 20s again. He had a 4-point day. He literally contributed to every single one of their goals. He scored 1 and had 3 assists. But the Avs put in 2 within the last 4 minutes of the second period to bring themselves to 1 play away from being 1 play away. The most worthless and terrifying lead in hockey. 2 goals. Newly acquired Sean Walker scored his 3rd goal for the Avs through 2 screens to make it 4-1, and Yakov Trenin tipped in a Brandon Duhaime shot with 30 seconds left on the clock in the second. And then Jonathan Drouin scored early in the third to make it 4-3. McKinnon and Taves got assists on that goal. And it was at that point I was pretty content with whatever outcome was going to be, because Mac extended his streaks. He extended his point streak, overall point streak to 19. He extended his home point streak to 34. It's him and Wayne Gretzky. If Mac gets a point in every game, he will be the only player in the history of the NHL to score a point in 41 home games in the regular season. Right now, nobody's done this since the great one, Wayne Gretzky. McKinnon has points in 34 of 34, and now 19 in a row overall. Silly rabbit. I was stupid for thinking, whatever comes after this, because then McKinnon rocketed home a slapper from Ovi's office, and if you know, you know, to tie it at 4 with less than 5 minutes left. In overtime, the Penguins didn't even touch the puck. And less than a minute into the extra frame, Jonathan Drouin called game. He cooked his man from the right wing across the goalie's face and buried it to seal the 2 points, the 9th win in a row, and the rightful sole first place atop the Central Division. Winnipeg is falling. Dallas can't catch us because we've schmacked them 3 times. The Avs are doing what they do. And it's not like last year where they were last gasping to first place in the Central, hanging on, barely making it. No, they're dominating. Yes, they fell down 4-0, but the Avs lead the league in comeback wins. Now, some of that is, I don't know, you want to call it padded, because technically the 6-1 thumping of Columbus on Friday night was a comeback win because they were down 1-0. But most teams, you get down 4-0 and you're like, well, damn, I guess that's it. Should we change the goalie? I don't know. No, not the Avs. No. Apparently that's the, well, we got them right where we want them, boys, mentality, which I hate. But there's a little bit of comfort knowing we're never, ever out of this game. We're never out of a game. It's both sickening and comforting. Nathan McKinnon now has 122 points on the season, which is a new Avalanche record, not total franchise record. Because there are some dudes that played for the Nordiques in the 80s that did stupid things, but Mac is now on a pace for on-air math. That was game 71. He's got 122. Let's say he's on pace for 140 points now, which is ridiculous. Rough estimate. Avs have a 3-game week this week. I like the every other. I love it. Nuggets are doing it. And now the Nuggets and Avs are on, because they're all home games. They're all home games this week. Oh, the boys at Ball Arena are back. If you can get tickets, go get tickets. I don't know that you can right now, because they're kicking ass and taking names. Avs play Tuesday against Montreal, Thursday against the New York Rangers, which should be a great game. The Rangers, 2-1 victory over us last time we played them. That was at MSG. Welcome to the altitude. Rangers are rolling. Avs are rolling. Come on. And then Nashville on Saturday. And that one will be some NBC must-see TV, because Nashville is the only team hotter than the Avs right now. And Nashville kicked our butts the last time we played them. And don't think for 1 second that Nathan McKinnon doesn't remember that. Because if you were watching that game today, you saw McKinnon towards the end of the second period. He was pissed they didn't call a hooking call because he had a breakaway to make it almost 4-3 in the second. And you just saw the look in the eyes. And the announcers on the game said something about it. The TNT guys at the intermission report said something about the look in his eyes. And what did he do? He comes out and freaking gets an assist to Jonathan Drouin at the beginning of the third, scores in the fourth, scores the fourth goal in the third, and then in overtime wins the faceoff and makes sure that Pittsburgh never touches the puck. Don't think for 1 second Mac doesn't remember that Nashville spanked us. That's going to be a great game on Saturday. I hope both teams are still rolling by then, because it'll be a heavyweight fight. And it'll be at altitude. So I'll be pumped about that. It's like the first quarter. I still contest that no one really wants the Avs in a 7-game series right now. They're beating bad teams. They're beating good teams. They're doing it in every which way possible. And I love it. I do. But you know what? that's going to do it tonight. We're going quality over quantity. 3 quick segments because it's Sunday. It's madness. We got to get out of here. Real quick before we go, though, the Rockies announced that Kyle Freeland, will take them on opening day against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Be watching Twitter X this week for more info about opening day lineup. I'm going to post some videos on what I think the Rockies are going to do. They just extended Ezekiel Tovar for 7 years. They're making some roster moves. It looks like they're committed to the young guys, which I think they should be. They have 4 games to start the season at Arizona. They start on Thursday. I'm pumped for baseball. Here we go. So be checking the social media for video takes, tweets, all that good stuff. Larry B, Taryn, thanks for being in the chat as always on a Sunday night. Fam, what a time to be a Denver sports fan. You've got the greatest NBA player on your team. You've got the greatest NHL player, maybe top 3 of the top 5 NHL players on your team. Both of those teams are in first place. CU women's dancing. The DU Pios are a 1 seed. And it's about to be Rockies season. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sports fans of all ages, is your boy Ariel slapping a fat mile high salute at you, signing off from the top of the mountain, 5,280 feet above the rest. Why? Because it's greatness. Reminding you to stay good, sports fans, and have a great week.
Go Broncos!